fact that all of us here, and I think another teacher touched upon it, is that we're really having a hard time trusting what you're saying to us. We're having a hard time. We'd love to see something tangible, some sort of good gesture on the government's part. Remember that we have seen legislation on us, we've seen strips, we're told you're getting nothing, or we're going to mine your contract if you do want something to improve. Just right now, can you tell me something that you can give us back as a sign of faith, as a sign of trust?
So you know, and I don't want to diminish the importance of your question, because I think it's very consistent with what the other gentleman was raising about the deficit of trust that exists, and I fully recognize that. And somehow we have to keep working as a Teachers Federation and as a Ministry of Education, as government, to try somehow to build that trust back over the course of the months and years ahead, and I'm personally committed to that, because I do recognize that you're going to be from Missouri on everything I say, regardless of how well I say it, based on what has been that 40-year bad marriage between government and the Teachers Federation. So one of the best moments in terms of the discussions we've had with the Teachers Federation was agreeing on a mentorship program for first 5-year teachers. There hasn't been a lot of discussion about that as the collective bargaining dispute has worn on. But UBC came up with a very thoughtful pilot project about how to support, how to build mentorship for those first 5-year teachers. And I'm sure you'd agree with me that your first 5 years of teaching are the most challenging ones. And so that's an example, I think, of what we can do when we start to break down a little bit of that climate of distrust and recognize that there are some things that we can do together. So the mentorship program would be one piece. I've had long presentations from Susan on the importance of teacher inquiry. I agree with those presentations. I think teacher inquiry is an important part of our future in terms of professional development. So I know it often feels like, you know, we're at loggerheads, that the government's entirely unreasonable, that we can never get anything, but there is, I think, some commonality in what we'd like to do, and it's only through active collaboration that you break through the distrust and get to a little bit of the well of common sense and common virtue that we have.
Wasn't my first 5 years of teaching that were the hardest? It's when I had kids.
When you had kids.
And when I had my special needs son. Mm-hmm. And the lack of flexibility in this system for teachers, especially female teachers, the fact that when you go part-time so that you can support your family, so that you can give your children a little bit more of your time, and the fact that you just don't, you have to go part-time and then you don't get to go up the pay scale as fast, that I've taken twice as long to get to what other people can get to. That's actually been a lot more difficult and a lot more stressful. I have to understand when a kid comes to me and says, you know, I didn't eat last night, or my mom and dad are having this fight and I couldn't do my homework, and I say, okay. But nobody comes to me and says, when I have a bad day as a teacher, and says, you know what, your kid, you just found out your kid's autistic? Oh, I guess this is going to be a bad day for you. That's okay. You know, we got to stifle it, we got to bury it, we got to keep on doing the job. And all of us have those situations where economy has hit us hard, and where, you know, we're struggling to be good teachers and good professionals. And when you give us legislation that strips our rights and takes away class sizes and makes the teaching even more difficult, it becomes incredibly difficult to do our jobs. And like I said, I appreciate you coming here. You didn't have to speak to us this long. You've been lovely, but that's not enough. I would love to see something more tangible, like restoring our collective the bills, you know, just the stripping of